And we're live, bro. Boom to the boom to the boom. Yeah. Right. Capturing all of that.
All of that, dude. It's very sensitive. I know that. So my previous video, I was talking with my hands. And just every time I like, come on, people.
Yeah. Just like feel like it's gonna be like a sign what is it? Morse code? Are you trying to do like a Morse code thing
Dude,
with
like,
that? Right, just like help me. All right, yo.
yeah, right. Nah, man. I'm happy we're doing this in front of the camera, dude. We're always having these like conversations, and
No, yeah.
this is like, this is really cool. It feels like surreal in a way.
No, for sure, bro. I mean, because even thinking about it, like all I would just say like all of last year, how we just kept going back and forth with everything for real. It really just made me, I would say, step back and kind of look at the bigger picture because we all know how like talented we are and then like the ideas that come to our minds and stuff like that. But it's just been so, I would say like not my bad. I wouldn't even say it like that, bro. I feel as though like all of 2024 has just been us realizing how much we were in our own ways, like the entirety of the time. Because like I would say, even when it came down to me and like my content ideas and stuff, right? Like I know I had the ideas, but I was just like, bro, it's just a certain way that I wanted to look. And mind you, me knowing that I was a part of like my stubbornness, it was still like a blockage for me now, like realizing it like now in 2025. But I would still say, even though that was like a issue all of like last year, it still made me realize like all of the things that I needed to sharpen myself on. Cause like even when I was showing you guys like the content ideas and stuff, now it's just like everything got more refined. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like now I started realizing like, okay, that might have been an issue, but through that issue, I was still able to find clarity. Like throughout that, like that fogginess, I was still able to find clarity. Like when we were having that conversation about stepping into the fog, and
And seeing like where you're supposed to go, and it's like,
yeah.
yeah, I remember that. Even like talking about that, it's like when you're embarking on something that you believe you need to be doing,
Hmm.
and you can't quite see the vision of what that's supposed to look like on the flip end, other than like what you can imagine it to be, it's like everything between now and that end goal is fog. And it's like,
Hmm.
well, how do you know where you're supposed to go? It's like when we had that conversation, it looks like at this point 3 years ago for sure.
Yeah.
I like we was in Tampa back then,
Yeah.
so it's like at that point in time, even I didn't know enough, and like playing the role that I play in to inform you to say, hey, like,
Mhm.
dude, now if you were asking me, like, say, like, what do I do when I see fog, bro? Map out the room. I literally, if the room is pitch black and you can't see shit, find the closest wall and just and feel out the whole seal of the room.
Mhm.
It's like, well, what if something hurts me? It's like, well, it's like good. Like you'll be informed. Don't go there. Like you'll be okay. Like it's just like when we're talking about pursuing your dreams and especially creating content, man. Like I've seen you go from like take half a day or a full day to set up. So now, dude, I've seen you like set up the whole living room in, like 15 minutes, bro. And like it literally looks like a YouTuber's like domain. We're like, bro, like I look at the camera, I look at you, I'm like, this looks more real than you look real in real life. Like this is crazy. Like a lighting effect, but this is all stuff you taught yourself, bro. And being on
Yeah.
sets and production, like I'm very proud of you because, like, one, not everyone can do that, and I say that in the sense of like, not everyone's meant to do that. If you're meant
Mhm.
to do that, you will find a way,
Yeah.
and you have found that way, bro. Like for me, to say you had like no guiding hand. It's like you helped yourself, and you made the right relationships to the people to teach you, to YouTube, to whatever sources you gain from,
Mhm.
but you taught yourself. Like you didn't go to school for that. You didn't grow up in a production family. Like
Yeah.
all I know, you didn't have like theater as a kid for like 8 years in a row. Like nah.
Nah.
So
Nah.
it's like very proud of you, man. Like you put yourself the last like year and a half or two, really in that direction. Teamwork now, like everything we took out last year into this year, it's like, yeah, we finally have the camera going on for conversations that we have normally,
Yeah.
to a point where like I just know as we do this more, like it'll feel even less mechanical. Like
No, for
having
sure.
these conversations, like even right now, it's
For
like
sure.
it's just psyching yourself into it.
Yeah.
Even if I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm comfortable, I'm fine, but it's like I can already tell even how I'm talking now is different than when the camera's off. It's like, yeah. But like
Yeah.
that's just it. And I think anyone wanting to pursue their dreams and like whatever it is you want to go for, like
Uh,
just go for it, bro. Like it's okay to not be as good as what you imagine yourself to be day
uh,
one.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, dude, the people that you look up to, they're beyond day 1,000. Like if you
yeah.
do it every single day,
Mm-hmm.
like of your life, day
Mm-hmm.
1,000 is only like 3 years in.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right. It actually ain't that far. It's like
Yeah.
when you think I can go to school to get 4 years, a 4 year degree and a bachelor's, whatever, like that's 4 years. That's you don't have to go to school every day, but you should be
Mm-hmm.
studying, you should be learning, you should be applying. So
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at least 1,200 days right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
365 times four, whatever number that fight is, maybe like 1,400. But
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, it's like I think um I think when it comes to us and ourselves and going on like on the entrepreneur journey of self discovery and self actualization,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's like in the beginning, it's like you forget to apply the rules to yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because it's like I would say like in between the process, a lot of things don't click until you're like in that instance of where it actually is meant to be like applied. Other than that, you're just like I'm still trying to figure this stuff out when without knowing like in the back of your mind you already learned this.
Yeah.
And so now it's just like you got to learn how to like I would say learning the right place to actually apply a lot of this knowledge and stuff like that cuz even now like speaking on like the terms of that I remember we had this conversation maybe like a year and a half ago or something like that, bro. But it's like when you gain a lot of knowledge and wisdom, but it still feel like you don't know jack.
Yeah. I think I think it's just the journey of life, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like I don't know if like Aristotle, Plato, or just someone else entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I love philosophy. I don't remember names of words, but it's like
Nah, yeah.
basically this reminds thing of like kind of the world and like the biggest thing I realized like I know nothing. Right? It's like you come to this whole ultimate like realization of like, dude, I don't know anything at all, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and within that brings like a sense of balance and like peace.
Mm-hmm.
I think like when we're young, especially as maybe like guys, I'm not sure like how women see things, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
as guys like, dude, like I'm best, I'm cutting edge, like
Oh
I'm better
yeah.
than all these people. Like, I think it's an ego thing that we're like, I don't know, born with, or we get it somewhere at some moment,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, dude, you're at war with yourself with that mentality, like every time, because it really is you versus you.
Right.
But instead of coming to the table with yourself, bro, you're just like going to war with yourself, but you're taking out on the whole world around you.
Mm-hmm.
Until you realize, like, when you come to that realization point, you're like, man, like, I don't know anything. Like, your shoulders relax back, your mind kicks in, like, dude, what have I been doing, bro? And I think, like, that's just part of the journey, in itself. And I think just coming to that, it's like, dude, like, that's really where the journey begins.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like it takes doing everything and learning everything to that moment of not knowing
Mm-hmm.
for you to realize like, okay, well, like I did learn all these things, so I realized how much I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, what was I trying to do again? Like, oh yeah, sure.
Right,
Okay, I'm
right,
trying to do this. Okay. Oh, well, that's really easy now.
right.
And then you can start doing it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know if like that's a schooling thing or whatever that is, but like that process of consciousness, I would call it, is just like, dude, everyone has to get there. So how are you reaching your journey? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think once you reach there, that's when you're really starting.
True. True.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I feel like that's the basis level on I would say taking your first steps through life. And I would say like for instance, like in an individual's life, when they're like under their parents and everything like that, and a lot of their cares and worries are just like, like with them. Like they don't gotta worry about anything else. They just focus more on like their being
yeah,
and then like how they carry themselves in any different environment that they're in. But the moment that they get older, it's just like a lot of things are kind of just like foggy because a lot of those worries that you could have had like at that earlier age was on someone else. But now it's just like, okay, well, now I got to figure this shit out.
yeah,
Or like now I got to make this make sense for myself before I can even say I'm ready to take on the world or anything in that nature. So
yeah.
Yeah.
like it's good to have ambitions and drive,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's like a long way. Like don't lose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of us um, come from families and people who like they put off themselves. And I think a huge part of our journey is understanding like dang, like the folks who may have like raised me or brought me into this world or whatever, like they were more lost than I wanted to like believe.
Mm-hmm.
And like as much anger as like maybe some of us have with parents or just like disappointment, it's just like, dude, now you're at an age where maybe they even have you, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, well, it's like man, like how can they make these decisions? Like I know better, but then you do get older and you realize like now like you meet so many people that you realize your parents are just one of those people that you met, and you're like, man, like I can't be mad at them, man. Like I love them. Like they're my parents. Like I'm very blessed and lucky to have them, and
Mm-hmm.
um no matter what your situation is, whether they're like together, maybe you want to die, like whatever it is, like
Mm-hmm.
you got to experience your life, and through that you get to inform the world. And you know, because life will inform you, and then you turn around and inform everyone else, and then that's how we all learn from each other. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, cool, like whatever story we're given, how can you use that to help another person?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, cool, like well, maybe I keep them a really foggy family. Kind of, you know, maybe they gave up in their 20s and they had me. You know, they got me together and they just kind of make it work. So we settled. And I grew up from a family that was very like risk adverse, you know, but they didn't sit with confidence either. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like afraid to like do anything, but I want to do more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, man, well, you got to figure that out. Like, it's like, well, I feel like no one believes in me. It's like, well, do you have friends? It's like, yeah. But I don't think they're really there for me. It's like, wait, you got to start somewhere. Like, you really look at yourself where you are. Like,
Yeah.
if you say you have friends, but you don't think they're there for you, like, are you there for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you realize when you really put yourself out there, bro, like, you know, people will acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone's hating on you, just know like they're really working for you, bro. Like, if anyone's actually hating on you, it's because they know you can do it. Like, that's it. So, no, I think now I see like life, you know, everything's different for everyone, but it's like, dude, life is really set up for you to win. You just have to allow yourself to
Yeah.
win. And, you know,
Yeah.
if you're more into an environment situation where it's like everything's against you,
Mm-hmm.
like you always have a choice. Even when you don't feel like you have a choice, like you do. You have to just understand what that looks like. You may not understand what that looks like until much later. But don't make the decisions that keep you there.
Hmm.
Because like it's like, man, like it can't get any worse than this. It's like, well, like it can. It's like, but and then at the same time, like you can't keep telling yourself it won't get any better than this either. Like
Mm-hmm.
it will. You have to believe and you have to like accept in that, and like that's like work by faith and like what you believe in. And
Mm-hmm.
it's okay for it to get worse than where you're at. Like it's not the end of the road. And if it is, you got nothing to worry about, dude. You reach the end of the road. Like I have such a, I think like an open philosophy to life on this because like, you know, I joke around with like life a lot, like, which you know, but it's like remember like if my life ended today, I had nothing to worry about, dude. Like everything's like gone. It's like
Yeah.
so why should I live my life with like all these worries? Like they're not real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we'll say about this, but you gotta do this. Like, yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should do everything you need to do to get you to where you want to be.
Yep.
Everything. Like, don't leave anything off the table. Like, oh, I could be doing better on my content or my talking, my people skills. I gotta be better at promoting myself. Good, then learn it.
Yeah.
Like, it was stopping you.
Now I'm gonna tell you one of the things that I feel people kind of let themselves get, I would say, bombarded or I would say fooled by is time.
What do you mean?
So when I say that is because like when you realize that you actually time is always on your side, it's just depending on how you allocate.
It compounds.
Exactly.
The more you're away from where you need to be, you'll progressively get worse at that thing. But the
Mm-hmm.
more you spend in it, you will exponentially get better at that thing.
Exactly. And then because anytime when I'm trying to work on anything that I feel like my heart is telling me to like focus on, I'm like, okay, is it just life taking or getting in my way or taking time away from me? Or am I not making time for that specific thing? And then anytime when I think about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just me not making time for that specific. Yeah, I'm not deciding. Like it's always that. And then even because bro, I keep even thinking about like this thing about like um I, I think it was a conversation we had with the computers and stuff, right?
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, you at some point you tend to realize how much a lot of it is just like human error. And then the more and more that I started paying attention to like even things that like little minor mishaps, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely a human error thing on a daily basis. Like anytime when something's going wrong, bro, it's because you probably didn't do something you were supposed to do, bro. And I'm like, damn. So we just be psyching ourselves out the entire time, dude.
Computer. I read this. I read some quote and butchered it, but it's like kind of like a computer is just sand and stone that we tricked into thinking by zapping it with lightning. Like, that's all it is, bro. It's really sand and stone, bro.
That's crazy.
Like the lightning flung through it. It's like these are just elemental compounds that we have around us.
Mm-hmm.
It can't make its own decisions. Like it will do exactly what you tell it to do.
Mm-hmm.
To the T.
Yeah.
So if it's not behaving how you want it to behave, whether it's you as the end user or someone from the programming side, like it's not exactly what it was told to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something like, oh, well, it does this thing, it hiccups, got finagle it, no, it's like, that's either by design of the software, the computer itself, or you're just doing something wrong. Like, there's only three things that it all comes from a person.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like all of it is, bro, just ridiculous. It's looking ridiculous. And then I would even say, even thinking about like the content stuff, right? Like I think anytime when someone gets in front of the camera, they project, I would say, like the perception of the world through that lens. Because whenever we're around like our friends and stuff, we can just be ourselves and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whenever we're around like strangers or anyone that we want to impress, we start acting differently.
Yeah.
And I started considering that as the lens of the world and trying to view yourself through a perfect lens. And then even thinking about it, I'm like, well, we don't really crave perfection. We seek it,
Yeah.
but deep down, we really don't desire or
What does
crave.
that even look like?
What does it look like? But then at the same time, bro, it's like when we have something that we deem perfect, the more and more that we looked at it, the more we start to find the imperfections of it
Yeah.
and start to really seek something else that's beyond that. And then I'm just like, well, why the fuck are we always?
We're looking for God in the places where I'm not going to say he's not, but we're looking for it in like material and man-made things, in the man itself.
Yeah.
Because like to say God is perfect, it's like like you would have to be right,
Mm-hmm.
and all aspects of form. Like even if we don't understand what perfection looks like or our idealism of perfection, because in that is like we as people will only refine ourselves. So like a lot of extent, right? It's like, say what do you mean? When you listen to music, it like maybe it's like emoting death or fallen or whatever. It's showing you more aspects of yourself. Otherwise, you want to be like gravitating towards it. It's something within you that's resonating to on a frequency.
Yeah.
And so, like when we think about people or things that we look at in terms of perfection, it's like, and then you start noticing the imperfections. It's because you see it at first, like, wow, like, it's amazing. But very quickly, you start looking for the things that you don't like about yourself. And so you start looking for the things that they have that they might have that you don't like. And so you might start picking it apart super fast, like insanely fast, right? And that's just a reflection of the way you think. Because like if you don't think that way, you're not going to look for those things. You're not going to find them. And if you do find them, and like depending on your relationship with your imperfection, your flaws, that'll be your relationship with someone else's imperfection flaws. So if you love you for you, you will love someone else for them, even if they don't know how to accept themselves for those things yet. And I think to me that's like endearing love. I don't know about unconditional love. I think that belongs to God, but I think in our conquest of love and understanding ourselves, like say conquest like a war thing, but like really like encapsulating like what is love, like I think that definitely is in it. And it starts with yourself because as you appreciate these moments and these things about you, how can you not love someone else for what they have? Like how can you not? This is like really nasty, but then are you gonna feel compassion? Like, dude, like you don't gotta be this way. Like it's okay. Like slow down. Like, you'll be here for a while. Like no rush to ripping yourself apart on the inside like a million pieces at a time. Like okay, like you're here, you ain't going
Mm-hmm.
nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think working on yourself is good. I think it's just it's like I think you have characteristics and traits, right? So characteristics can be like, all right, maybe you're like a lazy person. You can work on that. You can stop being lazy. What does that mean? You can develop discipline to get a point where you take action before laziness kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you really necessarily eliminate laziness. I think it's there and just keep it like at bay in a way. But I mean, at some point, like you'll just always be doing things because like, well, if I don't do it, then I get lazy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And everyone has different things, but then traits, right? It's like, what perks do you have?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, like, I laugh a certain way, or like my traits, like I look at things a certain way. Like, if something happens, I comment on it, like in a particular style manner, or I like, if I read a reel, this is what I'm reading. Like those are like how my brain works. And then you're gonna know your thing, she's gonna know her thing, and etc. And that's what makes us all extremely different.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's one thing. Like when I think about God's design, it's just like each person is very unique. Like it's actually just the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you look like someone else, you're like not that person. You don't walk in their shoes. You don't got their experiences. You might have similar perspectives. You might even like agree on things,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not you. And it's like the commonality between people does not define who you are and your identity. Your identity exists within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like finding my words to like say them, but yeah, and it's like I think it goes back to like being in front of camera and on camera, like how we are in our day to day life. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like that. And I think that the goal is getting the camera in on that point in
First
time,
time, yep.
like comfortably, and that's not like a style. That's not like a let me go look how to do it. It's by practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Practice and trial and error, bro. Trial and error, bro.
What we say error looks like.
Man, I think everyone's idea on that word or that term is very different. But I would say like as far as mine, error is just basically like another no, I would say error to me is just a lesson,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Because again, like thinking along like the whole thing of like perfection and stuff, right? One thing that I started realizing about the process and why I started being more grateful about errors is it gives me more inspiration on how things are going to be once I get it right. And so, yeah, when it comes down to me and how I observe errors now, it's just like, uh, I would say not a backfire, but a step back to make two steps forward type thing, man. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's that book you got lyrics about it? It's like sometimes falling back is progress. It's all about perspective,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like that's just with me for a while. Because I heard it years ago at this point. So like some people were like, man, like I really need to hear that at that point in time. But
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Like I don't even. I actually like know like what is an error like in your perspective because like I'm not sure how a perspective on what. Everything felt like a success in my book. Where it's
Yeah.
like, they're like, tell me something that went wrong. It's like, well, like, what went wrong? Like,
Mm-hmm.
tell me a moment like it was just like a failure. It's like, it wasn't though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it didn't go maybe the way we expected things to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that by our own margin, that becomes an error.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always going to go the way it was going to go. You just had to do it. Like, did you get to work in the end? Yeah. Oh, how did it break? I misplaced the thing where it was supposed to be, and I wasn't there at the time I was supposed to be at the time at to I pushed the wrong button when I was supposed to push this button. I was thinking about it wrong. Like those were my errors. Like, but I had to go through that to even get here to success.
Mm-hmm.
Trial,
Yeah.
error,
Yeah.
and it's like I think you know I think the biggest thing that you can do wrong right there is to not try at all. And it's like then when you try, it's not your first second time, or you might be,
Mm-hmm.
but a million, dude, infinite. Like don't
Mm-hmm.
stop trying. Like most of them don't stop trying. It's like don't say it exactly. The last thing is like you're gonna be here, man. You're gonna be here till the day you die. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is tiring to you? What about this? What about living is tiring?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe it's the way you're living your life that's tiring, right? Maybe it's the way you're going about things that's tiring. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's not for you to be doing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I don't know. When I think about these things, like it makes me happy. So I'm like, life just feels great, man. Like everything could be like on fire all around me. And it's like cool. Like this will only empower me like further. Why? Because I really want to try to take them out here. It's like I don't know what my life looks like. When I'm 49,
Mm-hmm.
50. Like I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what is success? What is like failure to you at that point? You say like, well, like my family, I want to be financially successful. I don't want to be alone. I want friends. I want to be like where I want to be in life. Yeah, that's good, right? But I said to you like, we're gonna have kids, grandkids, like, lots of you could do such like an in between age, but even say like 35, dude, you don't know. Maybe changing the baby diapers, like not sleeping for 4 nights in a row, like make your dreams come alive, like doing all this, like you don't know where you're gonna be at 7 p.m. on like November 13th, 2045. Like you do not know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like within that, it's like it's not my job to guess. It's not my job to even like look that far. My job is to be here and present, what I have now for where I want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to be the greatest manager on the planet, like across history ever. Like I'm here to create a legacy and a statement, and even that is limiting compared to what God has in store for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going all the way. Like that's going all the way. Like I'm not going to stop. And so within that, it's like, what more would I even have to comment on for like other people to like entertained by? Like dude, I'm here to work. Like
Yeah.
I don't know about like other people. And I see folks like talking like, "Hey guys, you have to do blah 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 blah." It's like yeah, that's cool. Like you're really you're really insightful. I don't know how resourceful you are. That's different, but you're insightful. Like that's awesome. Thank you. I know these things. I'm not sure how important they are for me in my journey right now. And so one thing I've learned how to marry together very strongly I think for better or worse, I don't really care. For me, it's been for the better. Is I have married the amount of information I know and learn and apply to my level of consciousness. If I can't consciously internalize what I'm like absorbing, it's not for me to absorb right now. So that takes me like 8 months to read a single book. But that's the book I need to be reading, and it's really something I get to. That means I need to work harder. That means I need to apply myself more. I need to put myself more positions where this makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that way it's not going in one ear or one eyeball out the other type view, however you want to like read that. You're reading literally. But right. But like that's how I think I've been able to prove myself successful as a businessman and as a manager and leader and artist and everything. Because if I'm not there, then my mind doesn't need to be there right now. Like it's good to absorb it when it's not to absorb, but I need to absorb all the time. Like I had my whole childhood and teenage years and stuff to absorb, and I'm 28. I absorbed, in absent seasons and spurts and everything. But one thing now, I'm informing the world around me, especially doing all this. Like who would say the Colt? Well, I'm fairly certain, confident on who I am now. Like nothing. Straight bullet gonna fly out of me. It's like, oh wow, where did that come from? It's like this was a goal of mine that I hadn't reached and determined on years prior. I want to know who I am. I want to go through everything I'm meant to go through for myself because one thing with like intelligence or just whatever, and even the twins were sent me something on this the other day because I'm sure they resonate with it to a lot of extent. It's like you get analysis paralysis. All right, it's like you think about all the steps you could take. You don't know which one to take. And you're like, well, people say I can do that. People say I can do this, or I could or couldn't. But the thing they tell me I should do, I don't know. Like, yeah, I probably don't know. What have you done? I looked. That's like, wow. Like, that's not anyone can look. Like, that's not hard enough.
Yeah.
That's not far enough.
Right.
Did you toes in the water?
Right.
Submerge yourself in it.
Man. I know we can just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd say like this.
Yeah.
This is this is solid for now.
Dude, thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. We'll just get like a lot more going.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, you're right. Cause I'm like, I think it's like what Oh, bro.